I'm an officer at San Bernardino Community College District. This is a class that we'd like to provide for the students. We're going to be doing this every semester. So if you want to come again, or you know someone at a later point in time who maybe would benefit from this, please tell them to watch for the next class. The first speaker is going to be Sylvia Campos. She's with San Bernardino Sexual Assault Services, Yucaipa Outreach. So her office is here in Yucaipa, not very far away. And if you can just listen to her for the next few minutes.
Okay, I don't know if I need a mic, but okay, I don't want to be yelling at you. Good afternoon. Again, my name is Sylvia Campos, and I do work for San Bernardino Sexual Assault Services, which is Yucaipa Outreach here in Yucaipa, and I'm located inside the Sheriff's Department. What I do is I'm an advocate, I'm a crisis counselor, and I'm also the bilingual community educator, so I go out, I wear many hats. But as an advocate, what we do is we're there for the victims of sexual assault, and because Yucaipa, we work with the domestic violence. So I've been in San Bernardino for about 9 years, and now this last year here in Yucaipa. We provide services for survivors of sexual assault, whether it be female or male, any age from 5 and up. We provide those services. We are one of the first that respond whenever there is a rape. Law enforcement, which is usually called law enforcement medical, which is called LIMS, and then they contact us, or sometimes we're called, especially in Redlands or Yucaipa here, we're called either to, while the interview is done, because we're uncovered under the penal code, we're able to be there with the victim. We will go to the schools, wherever we're called, we're there to be the support for the survivor and the families. And we're there through the forensic exams, and we go through trial, also to court. So we stand with our survivors through court, just like victim services, which is victim witness that works with the district attorney. Only we provide the counseling part. Of course, they provide the legal part, but they also do provide the support there for the victims. We have a 24-hour hotline that's available for survivors that they are able to use, because a lot of times, and I'll talk a little bit about that, on some of the trauma that they go through, a lot of times they need to talk to someone. Maybe they are going to a therapist, and they're not available 24 hours. We are available 24 hours where they can use the hotline. It's all confidential. There are certified counselors, and so we have those services available. All our services are free of charge, and a lot of people don't know that. We serve all San Bernardino County. We have different satellite offices. Our main office is in San Bernardino, and our satellite offices, which is Yucaipa at the Sheriff's Department. We have one in Victorville. We did have one at the Fontana Sheriff's Department, but she's now in San Bernardino with us. We have Redlands, so that's located at the police annex. And then we have the Morongo Basin and Coachella Valley. So Coachella Valley is not San Bernardino County, but we still serve that area. That is our area, and we have advocates up there that provide those services. Today, I was asked to talk about the date acquaintance rate and campus safety, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And as you've seen on the video, I was kind of showing a little bit about a little bit of the sexual assault and how the people, as far as 1 in 3 women being sexually assaulted, and men also too. As children, 1 in 3 girls is sexually assaulted before the age 18, and boys, 1 in 6 boys is sexually assaulted before the age of 18. It's not just women, it's not girls. We do see it a lot in boys. This happening today with the online, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. What is date rape? Date rape or acquaintance rape, I'm sorry, I'm used to standing over on the opposite side, so I don't know if that's going to make a difference, is when someone you know forces, oh, I have to be by the video. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. It's when someone you know forces you to have sex, and in California, any form of sexual conduct carried out against a person's will by the force of fear is a crime, whether it be male or female. And a lot of times, that's where it kind of gets a little bit, especially when it goes to court, as far as sodomy, oral penetration, and any of that. It all still is under the rape, is considered rape. Because I've heard sometimes where, of course, once you get to the legal part, then of course they separate that. But most rape victims are women, but men are also too raped. While you're going to see and you're going to hear me talk about female or male and use women more, it's also to men, okay? So I usually, when I go do a presentation, I have a lot of men. It's like, well, how come you're saying just women? So just bear with me. It's just that usually it does happen more to women, so we're kind of going to be, you'll hear me say he or she, but I'll try to say he or she, The rapist could be someone you go out with. Even, that's where the acquaintance rape is, okay? Rape is forced. The acquaintance rape is someone that you know, someone you love, someone you care about, maybe a friend, boyfriend, classmate, coworker, a boss, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, family member, or a neighbor. Why should I be concerned about date rape? Well, we're seeing it quite a bit today, especially now with the technology that we have today. And we are, and I can say, and I'm at, actually, I don't just do as far as there with the adults and teenagers, but I'm also at the Children's Assessment Center where they do the investigations for children on Tuesdays. So that's my day to be there. And we see up to 7 children sometimes in there. And again, children, we're seeing the age between 15 and 19 right now, where as far as more of the rapes that are happening because of online. And I don't want to jump into that right now, but that's what we're seeing. It's a very serious crime. It's a felony. It's common. 3 out of 4 rapes are committed by someone that you know. And to prevent date rape, it's important to understand those attitudes. Most people imagine a rapist, and I was trying to get a picture to put up there that was a little bit so you would see that, but I couldn't get it to go on. Most people think that rapists are strangers, okay? And they're just out there waiting in the alley someplace, when you come out. And most of the time, again, it is someone that you know. I mean, 80%, 87% is someone you know, okay? No matter who the rapist is, it's a crime. It's a violent act that can cause a lot of emotional and physical damage to someone. It's very traumatizing. It's something that stays with them. Even though they go through the healing, and this is why it's so important, it starts off from law enforcement, the healing. That's where it starts, is getting the help. So everybody in there, whether it be medical personnel, whether each person is very important to that victim, okay, part of their healing. And so we have to be really careful a lot of times of what we do and what we say, to that victim. Why does date rape happen? Date rape isn't about love or lust. It's a sexual violence. It's power and control over someone. Now, factors leading to acquaintance rape are isolation, and where's my sheet in here? That's when a lot of times the perpetrators want someone for you to be alone. A lot of times they isolate that person. There's a greater risk when you're by yourself somewhere when there's no other people around. Your chance is higher that a rape situation can happen. That's why it's so important when you do go somewhere, someone goes someplace, is that they let someone know where they're at all times in case something were to happen. Walking, and we're going to talk about that also too on the campus. I'll just kind of go over a little bit. I don't want to, because I know you're going to be talking about that also too. Going alone to an apartment, dorm, room, or home removes a shield of protection that exists in a social setting. So it's so important to be in a safe place at all times, and try to make sure that there's people that are going to do some friends. You know, you guys, the young people that are here, going with friends, and even adults, because it has happened to adults, to let that person know if this were to happen, or if I drink a little too much, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, then you let that other person know immediately, okay, let's do this. You have a plan each time you go somewhere. It is not necessary to be far away from others. You know, it's happened actually in the same home. And that's something that at a party, you know, just 50 feet away, it's happened. You know, there's a party going on, everybody's having a nice time, they're drinking, and it happens in another room, and nobody knows, nobody hears anything. So that you don't have to be far away. Those isolated places are dangerous. The park, okay, the park. You know, this is what I hear a lot of times on teenagers. Well, we want to be alone. What's so bad about going into the, you know, I mean, it's a nice place to be and make out. Yes, it's true. That's why you need to know who you're with, okay? You need to know that person very well. You got to get to know that person, because if something were to happen, no one's going to hear you. You know, we're talking about someone that you know and you're going someplace, you're trusting that person. But somebody that you do not know, you have to be really careful, okay? Because now you're letting down your guard, and no one's going to hear you if you were to scream. That's why even here around the area, you have to be really careful and watch out, having your keys ready. And she's going to, I don't want to go and step on what you're going to talk about, so, you know, be prepared. The minute you walk in, we actually in San Bernardino, we work at next to a parole office, close to, right in the corner of the parole offices. We're right across the street from the Superior Courthouse. And so we have to be careful when we go out. We actually go out in twos, or make sure that the other one goes in, or, you know, have our keys ready, prepared. You know, and watching, looking out. Looking at the person, that's a really good thing, is to really focus on the person, not walk like this or on your cell phone. That's the worst thing you can do, is sitting there texting. We have that because perpetrators are looking for those high-risk situations, those people that are not actually paying attention, because first of all, what don't they want you to see? Right. They don't want you to identify them, okay? So it is important to make sure and look at the person, even if you're scared, okay? To look at that person and let them know that you know they're there, and being careful and having your keys ready. As soon as you get in that door, make it a habit to lock your doors. Lock your doors. And it's not just for women, it's for men too, because we've had a lot of carjacking. I mean, they'll try to get in the first door, so you want to make sure and make that a habit to lock your doors. Mixed signals. Thinking that no means yes. Many people interpret friendliness, the willingness to kiss, hug, and make out as a commitment to have intercourse. Does that mean that? You know, when you're making out with somebody? Does that mean that you want to go further than that? Not all the time. You know, this is what I hear a lot of times in teens. Because I ask them, how do you know? If someone, you know, wants to go further. Well, you can tell just by, you know, it just happens. But what if that person is afraid and doesn't want to speak up? Maybe that person is quiet. You see, the first thing that they ask me a lot of times is, okay, so what do we do? In order for us not to be accused or something to happen as far as rape, then what do we do? Ask, okay? And then that's kind of, I want to say it's back in old-fashioned time, is what I hear. Asking, okay, to find out. Make sure what the other person wants, because the next morning, if something were to happen, they report rape, someone can be charged with that. Now, might it go, and which is not a, you know, that's why it's so important to get to know that person. Get to know who you're talking to. Get to know what that person is thinking. If a woman is not clear in her own mind about what she wants, or she may think she will make up her mind as she goes along, that's not a really good thing. You want to make sure that you know what that other person wants. alcohol and drugs. Alcohol produces, alcohol is our #1 date rape drug. Our #1. Especially in young teens and college students, this is what we see quite a bit, is the alcohol. Okay, a lot of times there's drugs being involved, and a lot of times those drugs aren't even, by the time they get to the forensic exam and they get the blood test, everything else, some of them don't even show up in the system. So, alcohol produces loss of inhibition, okay, and may make, also too, again, this is what I hear in court a lot of times, is, well, I didn't know, I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing, okay? Alcohol just enhances whatever, maybe they had a thought of not being able to do before. Have you ever known somebody that doesn't dance? Okay, doesn't like to dance at all, never dances. But the minute you give them a drink, or they're drinking alcohol, they kind of all over the dance floor, okay? They've let go, and they're out there dancing. It just, whatever they're not able to do in their own, as by themselves, the alcohol just enhances and helps them to be able to do it a bit better. Men can become more aggressive, and women less likely to use good judgment. Okay? Your reactions are not going to be the same, okay, at all. Your reaction time is going to be much slower than it would if you weren't drinking. That's why it's so important when someone goes out that they let somebody know that there's a designated person, that if they see something going on, that they will right away do something, and you guys have a plan. And I'm talking to a lot of the young people that are right here that, have a plan. Because, again, if something were to happen, this is our #1 date rape drug, is alcohol. And a lot of times other drugs are put in there. GHB, all the different stuff that's inside, even over-the-counter drugs. They don't have to go out. All they have to do is over-the-counter drugs, okay? There's also, too, where Visine is one of the drugs that can be just added into your drink. And again, you can be knocked out right away with Visine. So there's a lot of drugs out there that we don't even know about, that I can't even, there's a lot of stuff out there. You have to be really careful. Risk reductions or preventions. Oh, okay. See, I'm going to go out of my, I'm so used to looking at. This is, again, this is out of a NetSmart. Let me see how I have to click it. Okay. It's not working. Okay. It's actually a video. Oh, wait. Me and technology. This is pretty bad. Okay, well, it's actually a video showing, why isn't it working? Maybe we can come back and play it in a second. Okay, it's a video actually showing because again, this just does not happen to women, but it's actually happens to guys. So I wanted to show that, but I'll try to see if I can see it after. Try to make it work. Sex role stereotypes, more of the reasons. Some people believe that the men should be aggressive and that women should be passive and give in. I keep moving out. I'm sorry, I'm used to walking around and I keep moving away. Poor communication. People may not understand each other's sexual intentions and expectations. Mixed messages, we talked a bit about that. A man, woman may think a woman or a man is plain hard to get when they really mean yes when he or she says no. Mixed messages may come from what a person says or through the body language. What are the effects of date rape? Date rape is a violation that can affect every area of a person's life, and we see that aftermath after how it affects them. In my office, again, a lot of times when it is reported, maybe law enforcement does not see the beginning, because this is what happens. A lot of times the trauma, everybody reacts to it totally different. So you might see somebody just smiling, laughing, and talking about it, and everybody's wondering, did it really happen? What happened? But it's not till maybe, could be hours after, could be days after, could be weeks, and even months after that they start to actually go through the trauma of the effects that happen. It may cause fear. A victim may become afraid of people they know and change their lives to avoid certain people and places. I have met the strongest person, according to them, and is that they were able to protect themselves in the school and are the strongest girl in the school. But when a rape situation happened, it totally changes their lives. And I'm talking about it changes their lives. They are no longer the same person. So a lot of times, it does create a lot of fear of not being able to go out there anymore and be the same person. Depression. People who are victims of date rape may become angry and depressed. Sexual problems. Victims' emotional hurt may harm their relationships with sexual partners. That could be with their husbands, boyfriends, or whatever the case may be in the future. It might not be right away. It will affect them, and it can affect them in the future if they do not get the help right away too. That's why it's so important for counseling, and it's so important for the first people that are the first responders. Whether it be paramedics, whether it be whomever, the law enforcement. I can't say enough that the impact as far as part of their healing it's really important. Those that have from the beginning that support, all the way from law enforcement, all the way to the advocates, to the counselors, to the therapists, the family, are those that I see heal. Okay, are able to heal. And I got to say, heal, they're going to have memories, of course, and they might struggle, but to the point where they're able to function in life. Loss of trust. The date rape victim may not trust people anymore, or may not trust theirself as judge of character. Guilt. Though the person is in no way responsible for the rape, they carry guilt a lot of times and shame. I shouldn't have been there, okay? I shouldn't have gone out to that party. I shouldn't have taken that drink. But again, no matter what you're doing, where you're at, no one has a right to rape someone and take something away from them at all. So it's never the victim's fault at all, whether or not they were in the wrong place, or let's say as our children, okay, because I have adults, but if we were to tell our teenagers and say, you know what, you need to come home, you cannot go here, you're not supposed to go to this party, but they end up going and something happens, okay? We know that, yes, they shouldn't have done it. They put themselves in a high-risk situation. Number one, putting their life in a high-risk situation, because if something worse would have happened as far as them not being here, we wouldn't know about it as parents. And so a lot of times it's you need to let someone know immediately, but you're never responsible, a victim, that, as far as it's never their fault for them being raped, okay? I like to say okay, I invite somebody to my home, or you invite somebody to your house, and you trust them. Obviously you trust them because you invited them to your home, and they steal something from your home. Is it your fault? What are you going to say? Yeah, it's my fault for bringing them here, right? And most of everybody will say that, but it isn't your fault, okay? Because how would you know? If you were to know, if you had any indication that that person was going to steal something from you, you would never have them in your home. So it's never the person's fault if they're raped or harmed in that way. How do I, and I want to say something. A lot of times that's what the victim is carrying. The victim carries guilt and shame, especially a lot of times if the parents or if someone is blaming and telling you shouldn't have been there. They already know they probably shouldn't have been there, okay? And the first thing I tell parents, you need to, they already know, okay? They know what happened. Now you have to be there and support your child or support that person and let them know that it's not their fault, that you're there for them. Everything else, they know. We don't have to sit there and tell them because they're going through that pain. They might not tell the parent, okay, they tell us, and we hear it, and we see the tears, but they might not tell the parent, okay, or the spouse or whomever the significant other is. How do I tell the bad from the good? One way is to get to know someone. I talked a bit about that better, is to join a club or organization that interests you. Be careful who you meet online. And I say that, be careful, and this is for adults. I'm not just saying for young people, for adults. Being careful who you meet online. You don't know who the other person is on the other side. Okay, it's hard enough when you do get to know somebody. Sometimes we don't really know, we don't know the other person. I mean, even when we get married, I mean, those that are married, we still are getting to know our spouses. You know, for those that are married, know what I'm talking about. A lot of times you don't, it's like you're still getting to know that person. Okay, so we don't even know ours. So it takes a while. It takes a period to be able to get to know that person. Okay. And yeah, and then sometimes you find out a lot of things after you're married. For those that are married, know what I'm talking about. And you're going, why didn't I see that? Okay, I should have, yeah, okay, no. But anyway, let's not go there. But you need to get to know who you're going with. And it's not just meeting them, or because I can turn around and say, oh, I love to do this, and I really care about you, and I'm a sincere person, but you don't really know who I am. You need to get to know that person. And it's like my grandmother used to say, there's nothing better than, one-to-one getting to know that person. I know in the olden days, I think my mom and dad, and I ask that question a lot, but they've already been married, what, 52 years, 53 years. And so, they got to know each other by mail. I don't know how they did that, but they did. And they did find out a lot of things about each other after. But they're still together, and they just, of course, in the olden days, they worked out things, but you have to get to know who that other person, the family members, looking at the parents. Okay, who's the parents? How does the father act? How does the mother act? Because more than likely, either they're going to be like them or just totally opposite, one of the two, and choose not to be like their parents, right? So we have to, I think it's a good thing to listen also to rumors. Yes, when we were younger, you don't want to listen to rumors, okay, because a lot of times people are, and it's true, but you kind of want to keep it in the back. Okay, why are they saying something about that person? Okay, how come they're saying that person raped somebody before, or, is just kind of, that person that likes to take girls all over and be with all kinds of girls and do this and do that, I'd kind of think about that. Why are they saying that? Check it out yourself. Get to know that person. Maybe it is a lie. Maybe it's just rumor. Maybe somebody is jealous, But I would suggest you investigate that and find out who that person is. That way you'll have a chance to find out what someone is like during a whole period. Your date may be nice, but be aware of the attitudes that could show another side of him or her. Okay, it only has him on there, but him or her, because it works. We have aggressive women today, guys. I have guys here, and I don't want you to throw anything at me, but today girls are aggressive. Women are aggressive, right? Everybody's quiet back there. I should have had some candy to throw out. You know. Okay, everybody's falling asleep. Okay, don't want that. Your date may be nice. You want to look out, see hostility towards women or men. Does he or she show signs of anger towards women or men? What do they say? How do they talk about women or men? Listen to it. The best way is watch TV with them. And then you'll find out how they're talking about that other person a lot of times. What are they saying? You know, how do they put that women down or men down? Okay. Domineering personality. Does he or she act bossy or make all the decisions about what you should do and where you should go? Does he or she treat you as his or her property? Remember, you are not property. Okay? And you want to make sure of that you are not treated as property. Okay? You're a person. And they should value, there should be trust, there should be equality, there should be just communication, important, number one. I always tell, when I do my date relationship violence at the schools, is I always let them know there's got to be communication, number one, and it's got to work both ways. That's the same thing in a marriage. It doesn't, one over the other never works. It's both together. That's why in marriage even, one lifts the other, where the other one's weak, the other one lifts the other person. Did I say that right? Well, and we have to be just equal in that to be able to be there for each other, not one over the other, you know. Wrong ideas about men or women. Does he or she view men or women as sex objects? Does he or she think that men or women are supposed to serve men or women's needs, or that only loose men or women get raped? Unrealistic views of women. Does he or she idolize you, put you on a pedestal? He or she could feel let down and angry if you don't live up to that image, and that's where you want to be careful also too. Okay? Because if you don't live up to that image and something were to happen, they're not going to be that Prince Charming anymore. Can date rape be avoided? You can take steps that may lower your chances of being raped. And those are: express what you want clearly, immediately, first on a date. First going out. Know what that person wants, what that person expects. And I always tell guys that a lot of times, because we have quite a bit a lot of times where, you know, and we're seeing it, unfortunately, we're seeing it in the teenagers a lot of times, where somebody will end up going with somebody, or you know, even in the young adults, and then all of a sudden is upset, but they've had a relationship, an intimate relationship together, which was agreed upon, but then decide that they're upset at the person, so they're going to get back, and that's the wrong thing to do, because that's a crime also too. Okay. And that's something that we do see we see it a lot of times. And I want to say, not every rape that happens, or date rape that somebody reports is you know, just, unfortunately we have those few that will make it bad for the victims. Okay, to, you know, make it a lie, you know, and then someone can be prosecuted for that also too, lying about a sexual assault. Avoid secluded places. Stay away from isolated places such as parks or deserted beaches. Meet in public or places where help will be nearby. Avoid alcohol and other drugs. Again, we talked about that. These make it harder for you to stay in control of the situation, to react right away. You can't react right away when you're under the influence, even if you think you do. Okay? You don't. It does change a person. Again, when someone, and I hear that all the time, but it doesn't change me. I mean, I'm fine. I don't, you know, it takes me quite a bit more. No, it does. Okay? You might not realize it, but it does. Don't leave your drink alone, and don't drink something you don't open yourself. If you were to go somewhere, and this is, if you were to go out to a club, to a party, to somebody's home, if you leave that drink and you have to go to the restroom, I'd get another one. Don't ever drink that drink, you know. Don't trust anyone. This is one of the big ones that I respond to as far as the rapes to date rates, is because a lot of times someone has put something in their drink and they don't remember. They wake up and they're in a place where they have no clue what happened. They don't know what happened to them. They might feel pain. They might not feel pain. They know they've been addressed. Something's happened. And what the survivors tell me is that we had an incident actually years ago when I first started doing this, and the girl was actually drugged. She was drinking willingly, but then drugs were added into her drink and she totally was completely knocked out. It was so bad that by the time the paramedics, when the friend had went to go get help, the paramedics came, they couldn't even get near her. They couldn't hold her down. When I got to the hospital, it took me 2 hours to try to calm her down. They had to restrain her. That's how she was just, every man that would come near her, not the sheriff, not anybody could get near her, because she was so on the drugs. She kept thinking that every man that came was the perpetrator, because it was multiple, okay? And again, and I use this because this girl actually, and talking about the feelings and emotions, she didn't know what actually happened to her because she wasn't awake. But every time she would go to school, she would think, was it you? She didn't know who that person was. And she was a strong person. She was a person that really could protect herself. And to see the change as far as her depression, everything that she went through, she is now doing really well, of course, but it just totally changed her life completely. So that's why it's so important to be careful on what you are taking. This is not just for girls, okay? And that's why I was trying to get that video to show, and hopefully, I don't know if maybe I can get it. Guys are also too vulnerable for this to happen when you're out with your friends or buddies, because a lot of times, remember, it's not all about lust or anything else. It's about power and control, humiliating, hurting somebody. And we've had this happen with somebody, you know, inviting some guys, and these are college students, inviting someone, and all of a sudden they get them all drunk, and they're putting drugs in. They don't know that it's going on, and, you know, this is when it happens, and they're actually raped, and this happens. So it happens to men also, and we're, again, like I said, it's a more of a, we're seeing it, I'm seeing it, the ones I've responded with also to men, not just women, and it's been kind of more on the higher side than it used to be before. Avoid alcohol and drugs. Don't leave your drink alone. We talked about arrange your own transportation. Drive your own car or use public transportation. Call somebody, call a family member, friend, someone, and let them know that you know, where you're going to be at, and pick you up. I think that's the best way, you know. Always let someone know where you're at all times. On campus, and I'm just going to cover real quick because I know you're probably going to cover some of that. Pay attention to your gut. Always have cash if you need a ride. Call someone. Use the buddy system at parties and have a plan to watch out for each other. Make sure someone knows where you are at all times. Make it a practice to avoid walking in poorly lit areas, whether on the city street, college campus, public library, parking lot, or a shopping center. I always, again, is having your keys ready. okay? Not being on your cell phone, okay? Because again, those are distractions. You're sitting there punching away. What does the perpetrator look for? Vulnerability, okay? Vulnerability. And if you're more vulnerable on the phone and talking or texting, because texting, I think is texting on the phone, you're more vulnerable for something to happen. For whatever, if it's not rape, even being attacked, as far as, you know, just taking your car keys, taking something, you know, hurting you, you're more vulnerable for that to happen. I'm not going to keep going on that one because you're going to cover. More risk reduction or prevention when walking in a parking lot during the day and especially at night. Leave your car keys ready. Be watchful of alcohol consumption. I just said that right now. I kind of jumped, so I'm sorry. I kind of jump over and I start talking too much and jump over some of my presentations here. Be watchful of alcohol consumption and its effects on your own behaviors of others. Avoid the drugs. Listen to your emotions and feelings. If you feel threatened and uncomfortable in a situation, get out of that situation immediately. Whether you have to make up something, whether you have to lie about something and go somewhere or let somebody know, get out of that situation immediately. Follow your instincts. It might not be something that you need to worry about, but it's better to follow those instincts and say, I need to get out of here. I don't feel comfortable with that person. I don't feel comfortable at all with the area or the situation I'm in. Know your sexual rights and responsibilities. These apply both to men and women. What should women know? First, you have the right to dress as you please. That is a myth also too, where a lot of times the way you dress causes someone to rape you. That's not true, okay? Now, it might cause somebody to look. Guys, now, can you help somebody wearing something? I mean, it might cause, if you don't want somebody to look, then I always tell the teens, do not wear that, okay? Because guys are going to be guys and they're going to look. But it doesn't cause somebody to rape you, okay? Does not cause somebody to rape you. Might cause them to look, but it's not going to cause them to rape you. Agree to have sex with someone and then change your mind at any time. Be treated with respect at all times, okay? And you have the responsibility to talk openly and honestly about your sexual expectations, wishes, and intentions. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't do today, is talking about their intentions as far as what they expect. Because today, with the media, the music, number one, a lot of the music and media, music is very powerful. You hear it out there. All us ones that are around my age, you know the difference between back when we used to hear music. Although it was there, okay, I remember in the 70s, because how many here from the 70s in here? Okay, the 70s, you know, I used to think they were talking about a girl, and they were actually talking about drugs. So, you know, and I used to sing along. I didn't know, you know. We need to listen to what we're hearing today. Today, it is so out there, even on the shows, on TV, that just because it's out there doesn't mean it's okay, okay? And so you want to, again, use judgment on that and be careful and knowing your expectations and your wishes and standing up for yourself and saying no. If you don't agree to it, you're uncomfortable, don't be embarrassed and you need to learn to say no. You know, and it's funny because a lot of times I have older people that can't say no, okay? It's not just younger people. And what I tell them is you need to stand in the mirror, okay? And if you can't do it, practice saying no and looking at the person at their face. One good thing is to practice when you go out there, you're out here, and if you're the person, because see, I was a really quiet person when I was very young, believe it or not, but I mean, I would walk like this. That's the worst thing you can do, okay, is not to be looking at a person. You want to look at, when you're walking out here in the campus, is to look at the person directly. Even though you're embarrassed, okay, or you're scared, okay, because again, they don't want you to see them. You want to practice saying no immediately. And I'm kind of focusing over here and telling them, because I want you to practice in the mirror saying no. I do not want to. You have a right to say no. And you need to make it clear. Because a lot of times those are the first questions that are asked. Did you say no? And it's important that you do say no. Okay? And assert yourself by standing up for your rights. Take an equal role in your relationship with men or women, because I have men in here. Reject sexual stereotypes that define women as passive, weak, and irrational. What men should know, you do not have the right to pressure or force a woman to have sex, even if you pay to have dinner or a night out. We see that in the teenagers, okay, sometimes. So, you know, and the young people is, well, hey, she owes me, I'll just, you know. No, you don't know anybody, anything. Men, you don't know anybody anything either. You've had sex with her, or if you had sex with her before, or she agrees to have sex with you, then changes her mind. A person can change their mind at any time. At any time. Whether they're both, and I'm going to say whether they're both nude and making out, and all of a sudden the other person says, I don't want to keep going. I changed my mind. Stop. That's why the word stop is important. No. You keep going, guess what? Now it becomes a crime. It is considered a rape. You met her at a bar or picked her up hitchhiking. She dresses provocatively, flirts or comes on you. You think women enjoy being forced to have sex or being persuaded. Your strategy for helping prevent date rape, always keep in mind that no one has the right to touch your body if you don't want to. Okay? Nobody does, unless you want them to. And so you have a right to speak up and say, no, this is not what I want. But you need to speak up. Because if you don't speak up, again, you know, it's, if it's reported at that point, a lot of times that makes a big difference too, okay? You need to speak up and you need to say something. Know your need and wishes. What do you want out of a sexual relationship, if you want one at all? Decide what having sex means to you and be honest in your answer. Communicate them clearly. Sex and dating are filled with unspoken expectations. Speak up. Don't let a man or woman assume that you're going to go to bed with them or her, even if you had sex with him or her before. You can change your mind anytime. You don't have to do that or have that happen after, you know, the next time. Assert yourself. Insist on being treated with respect. Don't be afraid to refuse an invitation or a gift. What if my date wants to have sex and I don't? Be direct. Confront him or her. Tell him or her you don't want to be touched. Act right away. Don't give to any of the man-women's sexual demands, hoping you appease him or her. Get away. You want, again, as I spoke about it earlier, get away. If you're attacked, go with your instincts. You may decide to run, scream, kick, or hit or bite, etc. But I want to make sure and let you know that no matter what, even if they don't scream or they don't hit, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Again, a lot of times they freeze. I have heard that from many survivors and women, again, that are being the strongest girls in the school that can protect themselves and don't know why they could not scream or yell. It is good, though, and you want to try to do that and have a plan. That's why it's good to take a self-defense class, is because you want to protect yourself and you want to try to fight as much as you can, try to get away, because chances are a lot of times what they say is you are, if you do, chances are you can get away. You might get hurt, okay? I'm not going to say you're not going to get hurt, but at least somebody will find you, and you know, you have to use your judgment. Again, if you don't fight, if you don't scream, doesn't mean you didn't try to do anything at all, okay? And it's your fault, because a lot of people do not, okay? And that's where the misunderstanding happens a lot of times, because people think, oh, well, they didn't fight and they didn't scream, they didn't do anything. I don't see any scratches. I don't see anything on their face. If that would have happened, I would have seen the bruises. They didn't fight at all. It didn't happen. Everybody reacts differently. Nobody reacts the same. The same thing with feelings and emotions, the trauma, you know, the acute reactions, that's the beginning when it first happens. A lot of times, you know, the emotional shock, the disbelief, all that starts to happen, they might not react the same way as you and I. Everybody reacts totally different. A lot of times in what I've seen, even a close sexual assault, a rape, an attempted rape, someone can actually go through the feelings and the trauma as actually being raped. And I've seen that happen. And because just the fear, everything that's going on, a lot of times in their feelings and emotions, again, they're so different. And so we can't turn around and say, well, you know, did that really happen? Must have not happened. Look at her. She's just talking and laughing. And I hear that, okay? Really, did it really happen? Do you really think it happened? I can't say, okay? I can't. Because everybody reacts differently and the trauma shows up after a lot of times. And we do see that. And that's where we can't judge, okay? A lot of times we have to be really careful when a friend tells us, oh, this happened. Because we can't judge by that. We can't judge by how they're acting at that moment, and I want to say that because a lot of times on my clients that I have, and even going through the trial and going through with them and from the beginning is so different. Every one of them that I've gone to and been there to respond and been there for counseling and been there actually through the whole trial reacts different. And we expect a certain thing, you know, certain way, something to show up, but, you know, they're supposed to be crying, they're supposed to be freaked out and just emotional, and that's how we expect them, because that's how we see it on TV, okay? But it doesn't happen that way. So the shock, a lot of times that shock comes in, and they're shocked, and go with your instincts. You may decide to run, scream, kick, hit. Okay, we won't go into that. Every rape situation is different. Never feel guilty about what you did or did not do. What to do if you are raped. Get to a friend's house or any place where we always let them know. Get emotional support. Call our hotlines, because a lot of times our hotlines, we can let them know what to do from there. We don't force them, but we will help them to be able to make that decision as far as reporting, because again, it's part of the healing. Reporting is part of the healing. And a lot of times, even if something's not going to be done, and a lot of cases they don't go through court, or they don't get to that point where they go through, the DA will not take that. It's still part of their healing. Even though just making that initial report is part of their starting of healing. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go through trial, the person doesn't get arrested, it's part of their healing just to report it. Go to the hospital, see a healthcare provider immediately for treatment, injuries. The first thing that we say usually is report it to law enforcement, because law enforcement then will call everybody else and take care of that and get the forensic exam and everything else. And that's what we do. And here in school, I know that you have certain policies. I don't know how it works. I know that in the school, at the high school level, a lot of times it's usually the school police are reported, then they report it to the city police. And I don't know how it works here, but right away and let them know that they're the only ones that can issue the forensic exam. Okay, they're the only ones that can issue the forensic exam as law enforcement, and because it's paid by them. Report the rape. Reporting sexual assault is an important part of ending violence against men or women, but you should be comfortable with the decision. Seek counseling. And again, our counselors, and we have the therapist, victim witness also, to provide services for them where they're covered and they're paid for. If this goes, the report usually goes and it's reported. Once it's reported, because they don't cover it if it's not reported, but there's help there for a therapist for them to continue their healing. And relocation if they have to get out of the place because maybe the person lives across the street or in the same home. If you're a legal adult, the decision is yours, but keep some of these points in mind. Rape is never the victim's fault. You have nothing to feel ashamed or guilty about. Nobody does that is raped. Date rape is real, and as a stranger rape, you may help protect other men or women. Reporting your rape may prevent future rapes. Remember, you have the right to demand justice. Know how to help a friend who has been raped. Be supportive, encourage action, offer shelter, be reassuring. Okay? And again, you don't want to judge. You just want to be there for them, support them, and let them know, okay, you're going to be there all the way, whatever decision they're making. Of course, if they're under the age of 18 by law, we have to report, just like anybody else, because we're covered under the mandated reporting. We have to report that. And I'm pretty truthful with my clients a lot of times, especially when I go into the high school, elementary level. I will let them know this has to be, you know, I have to let somebody know to get help for them. And so they understand that, because what happens is a lot of times when they're lied to, they're either lied by the school official a lot of times where it's you know, and then somebody else lies to them. Now they're not, by the time they come to us or go to a therapist, they're not trusting anybody anymore because everybody's lied to them. So I'm pretty truthful with them to let them know, you know what, I'm here for you, okay? But I do have to do this because I'm a mandated reporter and I have to report it. So I'm very truthful with them, so they gain that trust, they get that trust as going down the line. They know to trust people and they can talk about what happened, okay? And sources of help for victims and friends: rape crisis centers, hotlines, counselors, campus security, police, clinics or hospitals, police or sheriff's departments, doctors, clergy, mental health centers, victim witness offices. Rape by any other name is still rape. Communicate your needs and wishes clearly. Use safety strategies when you date. Report all kinds of sexual assault. Know what to do to help the victim by date rape. Awareness and prevention is the best weapons that we can have, and that's why I think what we do, it's not coming on again. No, it's not. I had videos in here that are not playing. And it's pretty much, I go out into the schools and we go out and we teach the elementary school level. I'm also too in preschool because we were doing preschool and Head Start. Okay, so, and I forgot to look over there. So, but any questions so far? I know I kind of ran through it really fast and that, and if you have any questions, like I said, we do provide, I have my number on there, and any questions, there are some little, oh, you did get your whistles and everything, so if there's any help or you know of someone that's going through that, please just have them call us. Okay? Thank you.
Again, these are tips that you can use at campus, but please be aware you can use this anywhere. You can use it outside your house if you're coming home late, at the grocery store if you're going shopping, getting gas, wherever you are. These are things that, you know, just always be aware of. First, these are our basic crimes that we have on campus. I mean, these are the ones that we see the most of. So I'm going to talk mostly about these, okay? First, for vehicle burglary, you obviously want to park in a well-lit area. Crafton used to be a little bit dark before, but now we have these great new lights that we were able to put in. So the campus is lit up really, really well now. Still, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be aware of your surroundings. When you park, maybe you don't want to park next to a van. You don't know what's inside the van. Somebody can easily slide open the door, grab you, and then go. Okay, so just, again, be aware of kind of vehicles that you park next to. Always lock your doors. I'm surprised sometimes that people that will leave their doors unlocked, windows rolled down with their belongings in plain view. Okay, we don't want to do that. That's just telling somebody, come and take me. Okay, we don't want to do that. We always want to be aware of that. So again, lock your doors, keep your windows up, and then don't leave your belongings with you. If you're going to leave something in your car, put it away in your trunk, but don't try to be aware if people are watching you though. If they see that you're going to put maybe a laptop in your trunk, okay, that's not a good idea. People will do that. They'll go to shopping centers, see people put a bag full of gifts or whatever that they went to got at the mall, and they'll leave their car because they're not done with their shopping, but when they come back, everything's removed from their trunk. So again, we always want to be aware of what we're doing because we don't know who's watching, especially these days. And I know that we're safe here on campus, but still things do happen. We keep it as safe as we can, and we're here for you if anything does happen. This is an example too of what we don't want to do with our car. Our security officer was looking for people, making sure they had parking permits, and here's somebody obviously tried to buy a parking permit and then it didn't take their money, so they left a note and they left the cash there on the dash for anybody to take. Okay, granted it's only $1, but it's still inviting somebody to come and break into their car. So something that we don't want to do and just to be aware of. If you didn't get a permit, just call us instead and we'll help you that way. Theft is a big crime here, Annette Valley. Most of the things that are going to be stolen are phones, MP3 players, sometimes laptops, textbooks, small items. Basically what we want to do is we want to not have our belongings leave our view. I know that it's good to be trusting. I'd like to know that I can leave my classroom, go to the restroom, and come back and believe that my things are going to be here still. But you just don't know. You don't know who the people in your classes are. I mean, some of you do. You may have some really close friends in your classes, but we want to get into the habit of taking care of our belongings. I've even had instructors, they've gone a whole semester in their class, no problems. They'll come in near the end, they'll have their laptop and you know, they're busy, they're rushing to get everything in. They leave their laptop on the floor right next to their desk. Students are in the classroom, but when they come back, their laptop is gone. Nobody saw anything. It's nice to be trusting, but we just can't do that much anymore. We always have to be aware and we just need to be safe. Also too, what I had mentioned is don't talk about your high-end items. What I mean by that too is if you're talking with a classmate, afterwards, say, hey, I got this great laptop in my car. Look, I got this new iPad. It's in my car. Come and take a look at it. Okay, again, who's listening to you? Who's going to go follow you to your car? Just have them, you know, just check out your iPad. Oh, that's really cool. And then, but okay, I got to go back to class now. Okay, somebody followed you to your car. Now they know where your car is and that you have an iPad in it, and nobody else is around. They saw you go back to class. All they have to do is wait for that parking lot to be empty, and then that iPad is theirs. Another thing that we get is verbal altercations. Usually what happens is people are bringing their problems with them to campus. Maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, just friends, family members that might be attending too. We try to leave our problems at home. When you're here at campus, we want you to be focused on your studies. We want you to feel safe, that you can go ahead and go to class and get your education, and then go home and deal with life after you leave school. School is your job primarily, and that's what we want you to feel, that you can handle that and not have any external distractions. If you do see a verbal altercation or anything, you think somebody's going to they're either yelling or maybe they're going to start to fight, stay away from it. Call us right away. If you don't know our number, go to an office, or there's somebody going to be nearby, whether it's an instructor, they can call us. If you see any a grounds worker, any custodial worker, anybody that's around, they know our number, they can give us a call, and we'll have somebody there within a minute. We have a couple officers on campus all the time, and it's not a big campus, so we'll get to you really fast if you see anything. And also too, let's say they break up. Normally what happens is someone says, oh, the cops are here. Okay, and everybody scatters. Okay, well, what you could do is be a good witness also. Get details, get descriptions of the people. What's really handy, and I put in the back, are these campus safety guides. And if you look on the back of them, it has a little chart, and it basically just has details that you can maybe try to think about and remember as you go anywhere. If you view a crime anywhere, this is just good information. You know, how tall was the person? Were they thin? Were they heavy? What color hair did they have? Did they have any jewelry? Tattoos are really good because they can't remove a tattoo. They could be wearing a sweater and jeans, and then we find somebody and just wearing a shirt and jeans. Well, obviously they could have dumped their sweater. So anything that's very distinguishable or identifiable is really helpful for us. And also too, if you're on the phone reporting this, this is Dion. She's one of our security officers. She works dispatch a lot for us, so she gets calls and she'll be on the phone getting information from you. You may not think that it's important information, but she'll be saying, okay, well, where are you now? Where did the person go? What do they look like? If you can just stay on the phone with her until we arrive, that really helps us, because sometimes you just want to call really fast and leave and just hang up. Well, that doesn't help us, because we'll get to the PAC. Okay, well, where's the person? Where's the person who reported? Are they there? Were they able to stay? Where did the subjects go that were fighting or that were, you know, doing something that they shouldn't have been doing? So it's really helpful for you if you can stay on the phone and answer some questions.
And as I'm getting the information from you, I'm actually calling it on the radio so the officer has more information when they do get there. Okay?
Yeah, it helps too, because if we get a call of a suspicious subject, well, what's the subject doing? What are they wearing? Where are they at? These are all things that we need to know. And again, she's talking with you, but she's talking with us at the same time. So she's not just, you know, wasting time. She's getting everything that she needs to convey to us, so we know how to respond when we get there. We get some drug uses here on campus too. It's not a big crime, but I think it's picking up a little bit, because people don't feel it's as serious as it is. A lot of things too with people that use drugs, if they're driving, it's similar to being intoxicated. It's not safe, so we try to avoid having them here. It's a crime to have drugs on campus. If you see anything unusual or subjects are acting unusual in any way, again, call. Try to describe in what way it seems unusual to you, and we'll go ahead, we'll obviously respond. We take every call seriously. But some symptoms of people who use drugs, they might have bloodshot eyes, some slurred speech. There might be an odor, a certain kind of odor that is lingering in the air. But also to be aware that some of these symptoms will also be seen in people who may have medical problems, real medical problems. Like sometimes people who are going to be going into a seizure, they'll show some of these same symptoms. Again, just give us a call. We'll check everything out and make sure everything's okay. If we need to, then we'll go ahead and escort the person off so that we can go ahead and help them in another way. General campus safety tips. You always want to be aware of your surroundings. Again, lock your vehicle. As Sylvia said, you know, walk with your keys in your hand. That way you're ready to go when you get in your car. You don't have to be fumbling in your purse or your backpack looking for everything. And just taking time away from, you know, just the possibility that someone can come up from behind you. Walk with a friend. Walk very confident. As she's saying, she used to, you know, people that walk with their head down, they're afraid to make eye contact. That shows that you're vulnerable. You want to be very confident, even if you don't feel like that you are. Look people in the eye. Also, as you're walking, be aware of who's around you. Maybe you're near another building. If you need to go ahead and get help, and maybe you don't have a cell phone with you, you can run into that building. You can go ahead and go talk to a group of people that you just happen to see around a corner, just again so that you're with somebody. My pet peeve is people who do use their cell phones and earbuds all the time. It's just, I don't know why people are walking constantly with music in their ears, which is going to mask the sound of anyone coming up from behind you, anyone going to talk to you. If they see that you're distracted or you're texting, there's nothing to stop them. You're not going to be on guard. You're just going to be, you're not going to be safe. You need to be aware of what's around you. And if you feel that you are aware with earbuds and music playing, then that's good for you. It's just one of those things that, like, I know, for example, people will go jogging and they'll have, you know, their headphones on. But again, when I go jogging, I want to hear the footsteps of the people coming up behind me, or a bike coming up behind me. I don't want to have the sound of nothing, okay? Visually scan the area. Again, this is no matter where you are. If you're grocery shopping at night and you're coming back to your car and it's dark, did you park under that light or did you park in a darker corner? Scan for bushes. Is there anybody maybe in any bushes? Anything that they could be hiding behind, whether it's a mailbox or just other vehicles. Or like I said, if you park next to a van, you always want to be aware, can you see anybody in the van? Does the van seem to be moving in any way? If you're here on campus, call us anytime that you are in doubt of anything. If you, like Sylvia was saying, listen to your gut instinct. If you feel that something is not safe, if you are just getting that, if you're just having a feeling that there's somebody there or something is going to happen, call us. We will be there within a minute. We'll give you a ride to your car. We'll give you a ride from your car to your class or to anywhere else that you need to go. If you need to just come to our office for a while and wait for a ride, that's fine too. We will do anything that we need to in order to make you feel safe. Again, we want you to feel safe here. You shouldn't feel threatened in any way. And again, if in doubt, run. Or if you see somebody coming at you, run. Run and scream, yell your bloody head off. I mean, people say not to yell help anymore, which is sad. They say to yell fire instead. I don't know that that really matters, but make yourself the loudest person out there, draw so much attention to you that everyone's going to look at you saying, well, what is that person yelling for? Why are they, are they crazy or what? But hey, I'd rather have that than you were quiet and somebody attacks you, okay? If you're drawing that much attention, then whoever is going to come after you, they're not going to want to be by you because they'll be seen as well, okay? So just make yourself a sight for everybody else to see. And then when you're safe, you can laugh about it later with all your friends. Okay? Common weapons that you can use, you have a lot of things in your book bag or in your purse or just on your body that you can use, whether it's your hands or feet as weapons. Ladies might have a nail file, maybe like a hairspray or something like that you can use as weapons. Your keys, obviously, are weapons. Your book bag, some people have really heavy book bags. Throw your book bag at them. Whip out that heavy textbook, whatever you need to do. But you have a lot of things on you that you can use. You can carry pepper spray on campus. I've been asked that before. I think it's like a 2.5 milliliter or milligram is what they sell. Like you can get at Turner's or Big Five or something like that. You can carry that. I wouldn't keep it like on you specifically, but if it's in your book bag and maybe that's something that you want to have in your hand, in one hand, and your keys in your other hand when you're walking to your car. So they also have something you can get tasers. People are allowed to have tasers now. They carry them. I don't recommend tasers just for personal use, only because you still have to be able to be in touching distance of that person. I'd rather be farther back and try to do something in that respect. Okay, so, but again, it is another option if that's something that you would feel comfortable with. So these are some things I already talked about, but also when I'm talking about being aware of your surroundings, let's say you're walking to the car, it's a little bit dark, maybe there's, you saw a group of other students on the way, and somebody's coming at you, or you're not feeling safe. Okay, go back to those students and just, just say, hey, I thought somebody was over at my car, do you mind if I hang out here with you while I call police or something? We don't have a lot of emergency phones on campus, which is, that's too bad, but if you don't have a cell phone, chances are somebody that you can pass or you can go back to, they'll have a cell phone and maybe they'll let you borrow it. Or go back into a classroom or to an office that's still open. Our instructors are around. They can give us a call. We've had that before. Staff will call for students that need us. So that's another thing that you can go ahead and just please feel free to utilize us. We want you to know that we're here for you, and we're only like a minute away. If you want to report an incident, again, if you're on campus, I mean, we prefer that you call us. Sometimes people will go home first, think about what happened, and the next day they'll make a report. We've had staff members do that too. Well, maybe it was like last week that something happened and they didn't report it to us. If the sooner you call us and let us know something's wrong, the sooner we can start looking into it for you and take care of it if we can. If you're injured, get medical attention. If you're injured on campus, we always will call the nurse. The nurse will come and help you in any way that she can. If you need to have an ambulance respond, we'll call an ambulance for you, and you can be transported to a hospital too if that's necessary. And again, this is for anything, whether you trip and fall and you think your ankle's sprained, or again, if you've been assaulted and you're very seriously injured. And also to think about, the aftermath. Again, Sylvia was saying that sometimes the effects of being assaulted don't show up right away. It may be weeks, months, even a year later. Everyone will deal with that in a different way. Some people have like eating disorders, whether they eat more, they eat less, they'll be depressed. They may sleep poorly. They may have nightmares about what happened. They may even be thinking about it during the day. We have counseling services. Again, the nurse on campus provides counseling service for the students. I believe it's free of charge. So you feel free to utilize the nurse. I mean, they're there for you. And the nurse has a lot of good information there. I got this one from Valley, since I'm at Valley College right now. But I was in the nurse's office. They have so many pamphlets on everything that you could possibly need, whether this is communication and respect. But I was in there just looking through all the different ones that they have. There's so many things that are really useful tools for us. And it's a quick little thing. You just go in, you can just, look it over and grab it. It's easy to just slip into a book or a backpack if you're afraid of somebody might, I don't know, make fun of you for getting help or just for looking at what's there. But there are a lot of good tools there. I even had there was a flyer from Sylvia from the UKIPA Outreach was in the office at the nurse's office too. So again, there's a lot of information that we want you to be able to find. These are some other resources that I found. I printed out this screen so it's there if you want to take one. The first one is the district police website. If you go there, there's a lot of information. I also printed out our page, so if you have like a half sheet, I'm just going to refer to it because I don't know it all right off. But if you go to the district police website, you'll see on the left some different tabs. One is campus alerts, and what campus alerts are, those are past incidents that we've had. Depending on the type of incident that happens on campus, we have 24 hours in which to notify the campus. So they're older, they're from last year, the ones that are currently up there now. But again, it's just we're mandated that we have to put that out so everyone is aware of particular incidents that do happen. Under victim assistance, we have other websites. We'll refer you to the nurse at Valley and at Crafton. We'll also refer you to some county organizations for family assistance or domestic violence assistance. There's a really good website. It's a California, I don't remember the full name, but it's for women's assistance. There are so many topics there, whether it's from food or jobs, children, just safety. It's a really good website to spend some time at. And another one is we've put a link for San Bernardino sexual assault services on there too. Under our policies, we have our safety guide here, so you can look at the safety guide online if you'd like to. And we also have let me see. What is that? Oh, and then we just have some of our school policies, whether it's like the smoking policy or free speech area, things like that. Under the police beats, oh, I didn't grab one. Can you grab a police beat? We have the police beats. I don't know if you're seeing them. They're put out every week on every Friday, and the front page will always be a different topic. And then we always list the stats we have 3 different ones. We'll have one for Valley College, one for Crafton, and one for the district office and the Educational Training Center, I think it's called. So that's what the police beat is. But it'll just tell you, depending on where it is, anything that's happened at those 3 areas throughout that week. So maybe no incidents were reported, and that's great. Or there may be well, here there was an officer responded to a vandalism and a report was taken. So it's just telling you, this is for your own knowledge, what's going on at your campus or at the other campuses in the district office. And last, if you on the front page of our website, about halfway down the screen, it says Disclosure of Campus Security Policy and Crime Statistics. That is called our annual safety report. We have copies of it there for Crafton. That has useful safety tips in the front of it, a lot of safety tips, and then again, that will tell you statistics, I think back to 2007. It has a good 100 different crimes, and then for each year from 2007 through I think 2011, how many of this crime occurred, how many of that crime occurred. So again, that's another thing, just so that you're aware of for yourself, you know, what's going on. You can see, well, maybe last year we had this many vehicle burglaries, and this year we have fewer. So it's good for you to know. Know your area, what's going on. Even if, you know, I don't know where you live, but you can always call your police department and, you know, find out information, you know, how is my area? What's the safety of my area versus another area? It's just, again, something for you, for general knowledge, to make yourself aware of what's going on around you. The last two websites, the rain.org and the calcasa.org, those are also useful websites. You can spend a lot of time with them. And another good one that I found recently, oh, that's old. This is the number for your student health services, I'm sorry, for Health and Wellness Center here at Crafton. It's going to be the 389-3272. I talked about the other resources, the annual safety reports, the safety guide, the police beats. The flip charts are things that you'll find in your classrooms. They should be posted by a door. In case of an emergency, I think an airplane crashing or earthquake or fire, you can grab your flip chart, or your instructor hopefully will grab the flip chart and flip to where they need to go depending on the incident, and they'll be able to help you in that respect. So these are all, again, and you can go ahead and look through those flip charts too, maybe while you're waiting for your instructor. So yeah, Dion has one, so that's kind of what it looks like. That one's for Valley because it has our, no, that's Crafton too. It's the same.
No.
Okay. So again, something else useful. And there's another website that I've recently found. It's called voicesandfaces.org. It's a website for survivors of sexual assault. They tell their own story. So it's just something that I've kind of stumbled onto. It's interesting reading though. So just, there's a lot of information out there that you can come across if you want to. Just educate yourselves and pass on the information to friends, family members, sisters, aunts, and again, men too. Men are frequently victims of sexual assault as well. If you have any questions, we're available afterwards. That's my work email. You can send me an email if you need to, if you have any questions or comments or concerns.